Football today is deeply intertwined with American culture, from giant stadiums to Super Bowl parties. But it wasn't always this way. Before 1877, what would eventually be described as American football was just taking shape on college campuses across the United States, and it looked nothing like the game a student might watch today, or people. Few early games resembled anything even remotely associated with the modern version of this sport. Most games consisted of very limited rules and borrowed from soccer and rugby. In this video, we will discuss how college football's first originated, where rivalries were born, and how Americanized version took shape. According to the NCAA.com, the first college football game was in 1869, which faced Princeton and Rutgers game. It was held on New Brunswick, New Jersey. The game was not football as we know it today, but reassembled soccer more closely. There were 25 players on each team, no protective equipment, and the ball was round, not flat. Their goal was to kick or bat the ball into the opponent's goal area, a simple objective, but the play was far from refined. As you can see, here are some students recreating the game, and here's some players playing in the game as today, and here's an old photo of the game. According to the source Harvard Law School, in 1874, the game really started to change when Harvard University took on McGill University from Canada. While Rutgers and Princeton had been playing a soccer-style game, in Harvard's matches with McGill, it introduced its elements of rugby. Players can now carry the ball, tackle, and adding more physical element than in the soccer-style games. These games were forced to incorporate rugby-style tackling, which over time replaced the kick and carry game of Princeton and Rutgers. According to the source called Pro Football Hall of Fame, informed basic rules, including that the team must have 11 players and adding the line of scrimmage. This meeting formalized the rules and moved away from rugby to a distinctly American game. From the early soccer games in Princeton and Rutgers to Harvard and McGill's rugby influence to Yale rules standardization, the origins of college football showed a fascinating evolution from familiar sports into something entirely new. These early games and rules set the stage of the unique aspects of American football we recognize today. It wasn't until 1876 that the representatives of Yale, Princeton, Harvard, and Columbia met to establish the new rules of the new game. One of the leading individuals behind those rules was Walter Camp, often referred as the father of American football. From early soccer-style games at Princeton and Rutgers to Harvard rugby influences matches with McGill, and onto the rule standardization of 1876 led by Yale, the sport was taking rapid shape over time. Every single stage brought new features and strategies, fulfilling what today appears to be American football. This journey from soccer to rugby hybrid and beyond reflects now how American college students took executive games, adapting them to make something entirely their own. Foundations of modern football were laid before 1877, each adding new features and shaping the sport for the times to come. While the modern elements of football existed prior to 1877, the early matches, along with the rule changes, only added successive layers of flesh to the game. As these evolved to take permanent shape, the game became alive, to become part of American life from local intercollegiate events to national games with audiences of millions. Not to mention, over time, there are a bunch of game-winning catches, interceptions, tackles to make the sport more enjoyable today. My thoughts of the game would be like, these early innovations remind us how a game evolves over time, adapting new rules and reflecting the spirit of its players. These earlier games remind us that, like any other tradition, sports are a dynamic enterprise, shaped by the imagination and passion of those who compete. To this day, college football bears an imprint from its pioneering days, spirit of rivalry, innovation, and one unit.